We are not going to allow ourselves to go back into the polling booth. And you hear us out, Governor Kemp. You hear me while in your closet. And you hear us. You hear the people, Brad Raffensperger. And I want Lieutenant Governor Jeffrey Duncan to hear too. And the guy that's making a ton of money, Gabriel Sterling, you listen up, Gabriel. You're not going to sell our votes to China. We're not going to vote on your damn machines made in China. We're going to vote on machines made in the USA. I'll tell you what, I believe that a great man one time called upon the black Americans to take action. We're not for violence. But Martin Luther King Jr. believed in nonviolent civil disobedience. I want you to go to the governor's mansion. I want you to circle it. I want you to blow your horns until Brian Kemp comes out and orders a special session of the Georgia legislature. Get us our legislature and tell everybody we want our legislator and we want him to fix the mess that he created. And then he can resign. And then as far as I'm concerned, lock him up. There's a few others who need to go with him. Where's Kelly Loeffler here? Where's David Perdue? He ought to be standing right here. Those two people want your vote, then they ought to tell you what we're... Get a special session of the legislature now. Do not be fooled twice. This is Georgia. We ain't dumb. We're not going to go vote on January 5th in another machine made by China. You're not going to fool Georgians again. If Kelly Loeffler wants your vote, if David Perdue wants your vote, they've got to earn it. They've got to demand publicly, repeatedly, consistently, Brian Kemp call a special session of the Georgia legislature. And if they do not do it, if Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue do not do it, they have not earned your vote. Don't you give it to them. Why would you go back and vote in another rigged election? For God's sakes, fix it. You gotta fix it before we'll do it again. They've already got 800,000 absentee ballots.
Oh, wait, you mean to tell me that there could be consequences for Republicans having amplified clowns within their ranks for years? You don't say. Seriously, I wonder what all of those Republicans who lined up behind this lawyer, Lin Wood, when he represented Nick Sandmann and Kyle Rittenhouse, how they feel now that the same far-right figure is actively demanding that Republicans don't vote in the Georgia runoff unless they go along with what is nothing more than a baseless disinformation campaign alleging election fraud. Almost like elevating conspiracy theorists to the mainstream, maybe, just maybe, wasn't a great idea after all. And keep in mind, the conspiracy theory that they're pushing is effectively that China, Cuba, and Venezuela all conspired with the CIA, the DOJ, the Republican governor and secretary of state, and Dominion voting systems to carry out a plan devised by Hugo Chavez, who died in 2013, to steal the election from Trump. Only one small problem, they don't have a single shred of evidence to prove it. So they'll hold rallies like this one to whip their supporters into a frenzy, but when it comes time to actually prove their claims in a courtroom, which is the only place where these claims actually matter, it's been an unmitigated failure. Consider the latest lawsuit brought forward by Lin Wood and Sidney Powell in Wisconsin. First of all, failed Republican candidate Derek Von Orden was included in the lawsuit despite not giving permission to be included. exploded. He tweeted, quote, "I learned through social media today that my name was included in a lawsuit without my permission. To be clear, I am not involved in the lawsuit seeking to overturn the election in Wisconsin." And of course, it got worse. Powell and Wood then demanded 48 hours of security camera footage from the TCF Center, a convention center used as a voting station on Election Day. Only here's the thing, the TCF Center is located in Detroit, Michigan. So I'm not exactly sure how far that's going to go for their lawsuit in Wisconsin. And finally, despite the fact that they intended for this lawsuit to be expedited, they forgot to request a hearing to do so, meaning that per the court's rules, the defendants have up to 21 days to respond to the complaint, which means that a response won't be required until a week after the Electoral College votes Biden into office. I guess this is the part where we commend Trump on having hired the best people. And by the way, I do want to point out one specific complaint brought up by Lin Wood, and that is this notion that Dominion Voting Systems voting machines are rigged. And this is all predicated on the conspiracy theory that Dominion Voting Systems is owned by the same company as Smartmatic. And because Smartmatic technology has been used in the Venezuela elections, these legal geniuses are trying to exploit this link and then claim that every election in the United States that used Dominion was then rigged. Only, here's the thing, Dominion and Smartmatic are not the same company. They have no link. One does not provide any software or equipment to the other. In fact, not only are they not related, but they're competitors. This is like looking at a Kia and a Porsche, seeing that they both have 4 wheels, and then thinking that they came from the same company. It is an entire conspiracy theory predicated on one really, really flimsy lie. And so now, with Republicans having amplified people like Lin Wood to the highest ranks of the GOP, his plan is that those in attendance march to Georgia Governor Brian Kemp's house, demand that he orders a special session in the legislature, where his hope is that lawmakers will discard the votes of Georgians and pass a new law allowing them to simply appoint their own electors who would cast their votes for Trump, and then demand that Kemp resign, at which point he would be locked up in prison. And look, I don't want to say I'm enjoying this. Yeah, no, I'm enjoying this. So while I don't normally agree with fringe figures on the right, this is one instance where I'd make an exception. Republicans should sit it out when it comes to the Georgia Senate runoffs. And when that's the case, those on the right should take a long, hard look in the mirror about the consequences of amplifying conspiracy theories, propping up lies and misinformation, and fostering an environment where the only people who are rewarded are those who traffic in disinformation and chaos. It doesn't come without consequences, and we're seeing that play out on the right at this very moment. If you like this video, please check out my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I take a deep dive into the week's most important stories and interview major players in politics, including Kamala Harris, Katie Porter, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Eric Swalwell, Mary Trump, Al Franken, Cory Booker, and many, many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.